Welcome to Wellness Made Easy with Wendy and Kirsten.
Hi, I'm Wendy. After I graduated with my master's in wellness management, I started my own company, T2 Coaching, Health, Fitness, and Sport.
And I'm Kirsten, an athlete, vegan, life coach, and girl mom, running a business focused on helping others create a life they love.
We are here to explore all things wellness to help you become the person you've always wanted to be.
So if that's why you're here, open your ears and your mind as we tackle the world of wellness together. Hi, everybody. Hi, Wendy.
Hi, Kirsten. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good.
Hi, everyone. How are y'all doing? What? I just feel silly all of a sudden. So I just started laughing for no reason.
I know, and I think it makes me laugh too. Laughter is good for the heart.
Oh, it's so good for the heart. I feel like, do you remember when you were little and you could laugh for like so hard you couldn't even breathe and like like your stomach hurt and like oh, those are the best.
Yeah.
And I feel like as adults, like those are few and far between.
Yeah, so I'm glad we're talking about it. I'll have to have more of them.
Sometimes I get those with the kids I coach.
Whatever you just did, I can't hear you as much.
Oh, because I moved my phone away, so now we know it's the phone thing.
Yes, because now it's perfect.
It's the phone. It has to do with my phone. Okay.
Yeah. Perfect. All right. So what were you saying?
Oh, so sometimes I get belly laughs with my kids that I coach.
Yeah, and I was going to say before you said that, the first thing I thought is the only times that's really happened with me the last couple of years is with Cora.
Mm-hmm.
Like she'll say like sometimes she'll like tickle me and it doesn't tickle, but the fact that she's trying to tickle me makes me laugh. And then like she'll keep trying to do it and I'm like, stop. But then I'll start laughing and she'll start giggling so much and it'll make me laugh so hard.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like this. So yeah. So, you know, it happened a lot when we were kids. Oh, I remember like when we're kids and you had to try to be quiet or try to be serious.
Mm-hmm.
And like one person would be like, and then everyone would like, and then it was just so hard to not laugh when you had to be quiet.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
Fun time.
I feel like I got in trouble.
We had a good childhood. We grew up in a good era.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm very interested to see what life will be like when Cora's in like junior high and high school.
Mm-hmm.
Because just things are so different. Like even the people who are in like junior high and high school now, it's still in another 5 or 6 years, everything's going to be so much more. It's just going to be so different.
It's so different. Yeah.
Yeah. So it makes, I mean, I'm curious about it.
Yeah.
I'm not scared or nervous, just very curious.
Yeah.
So what's your wellness win for the week?
Well, I finished off my birth month. It was great. I missed 6 days, only 6. I think that's pretty good of reading 53 pages a day.
Ooh,
although some of those days I still read, but I didn't get in my 53 pages. So I think that was a success on that part. And I completed my 53 minutes, at least 53 minutes of movement every day for 31 days. So that was really exciting for me. So I'm happy about that.
Yay. When is your first trail race?
I did one last month. It was a 30K. I did pretty well. It was really, really honestly 100% just a training race. It was about a 2-hour drive. I woke up at 5 a.m. I was at the door at 5:05 with my coffee and my snacks to get to the 2-hour drive. I got there, about 45 minutes before race start. And it was just a really nice, enjoyable place to run because I've never run there. But my main event, I have a marathon in April, but my main event is May 16th.
Okay.
It's a 50K with 12,000 vertical feet of elevation gain.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And training's going good?
Training's going great. Although I am, with the nicer weather here in Georgia, I keep looking at my bike and I'm like, gosh, I'm excited to start riding outside. The fatigue of my trail running training is keeping me off the bike. Despite wanting to do it, I'm like, I'm too tired. again, in my past life, I would have said, but it's nice out, just go out on your bike. I'm not, because I'm older, I'm wiser, and I need a little more recovery than I used to.
Right.
So, and once I'm really kind of tapering down for my 50K, and when I'm done with this big 50K event, I plan on going the next day to volunteer and watch Chattanooga 70.3. And so I think that'll get me really pumped up to really get back on the tri training, which it worked out really well last year. I started my triathlon training, quote unquote, in May. And I ended up doing a fall event. I think I'm going to do a summer event. I won't be in shape, like for me, but that's not what it's about. It's just about going with friends and completing the race.
Right. I did something similar on Tuesday. It was like 70 degrees here. And I had a one more like longish workout, and I was going to do like 2 hours on the bike, an hour run. And I just had so much, I'd been really busy the weekend before, and I just had a lot of things. I felt disorganized of stuff that I could do if I was sitting on the bike inside instead of biking outside. And it was it was like 70 degrees. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go to the gym. And I did my workout on the bike, and I checked off so many things, even things I forgot. I was like, oh yeah, I need to order the swimsuits, the fit kits for summer swim team. And I need to do this. I probably checked off 4 things off my list that I had planned, and did like 10 other things that I needed to get done. And it was so worth it, even though it was so nice outside.
Yeah. Awesome.
So my wellness win is I did my last big workout before my race coming up in Oceanside, and it went extremely better than anticipated. So I ended up, I decided, because I'd been kind of struggling with my nutrition plan the few weeks before of longer workouts where with like cramping or just losing energy at the end of my long workout. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to do an indoor 70.3. And I did the whole distance indoors to practice my nutrition, just to make sure that my body, off a harder effort, I had my nutrition plan dialed in. And I did this 2 years ago, because I was just coming back from my neck surgery. And I just wanted to, for confidence, I wanted to go through it all with nutrition. So 2 years ago when I did it in 5 hours and 45 minutes. And I was like, that's gave me the confidence I needed. So this time I'm like, as long as I get in 5 hours and 45 minutes and finish feeling strong with my nutrition plan, I will be so happy. And I ended up doing the whole thing in 5.5 hours. And my nutrition felt solid. I finished feeling, I mean, I was like, my body was achy. I haven't done that in a year, no, in like 6 months or whenever it was. But it definitely gave me the confidence that I didn't have before I did that. So I'm really glad that I went ahead and did the whole distance at the gym.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was a confidence builder. I didn't need to do those distances.
Right.
But it definitely made me feel like I'm more ready for my race than I was the day before.
I love it. Good job.
So you guys, we get a lot of questions. We are, we try to answer 1 or 2 listener questions every single episode of the podcast. Sometimes we forget, or we're not organized enough to have them ready. But Wendy and I get a ton of questions about all different things. Not, I would say mostly triathlon related or nutrition related, vegan related a lot for me too. So we wanted to do kind of an Ask Us Anything, just to see what questions people have and get those questions answered for you guys. So Wendy, do you want to just take turns, and whatever question comes up, it comes up?
Yeah, sounds good. Why don't you go first?
Okay, awesome. All right. My first one is, I screenshotted it, and so that, okay. I think this is a really good one. I'd like to get you to weigh in as well, and I can tell you what I think. I'm taking you up on your expertise. I enjoy the schedule of getting my run done or some cardio done in the morning. However, I am terrible at fueling. This bit me hard at my last marathon. Is it really crucial to fuel before a shorter 6 a.m. run or 30-minute cardio workout? I have read mixed evidence, but I have created a mental block around this, and it has become a really ridiculous barrier to getting out in the morning because of the extra time to consider fueling. So there's a couple different things about this question. One is she's asking, is it important to fuel before a 6 a.m. workout? She also asks, is it important to fuel before a 30-minute workout? And then she expresses some anxiety with waking up too early to actually fuel before these workouts. So I think those are different aspects, actually, and they're all a little bit different. So first of all, do I need to fuel before a 30-minute workout? It kind of depends on what you ate earlier, but if you're coming off fasting, which is your sleep, and going into a 30-minute workout, I guess to me, it depends on how important is that workout, how much intensity is that workout. If you didn't eat anything all night and you didn't have anything in the morning and you jump into a 30-minute workout, it's probably going to be fine. If you're trying to do a 30-minute workout like a 5K and you're doing super high intensity, your muscle glycogen and your brain glucose are going to be low. So you're probably not going to get you probably can't do a max effort or get your best effort with no glucose and glycogen stored in your muscles or your brain. But our muscles and brain can store 45 minutes to an hour. So if you had something to eat an hour before or 45 minutes before, even if it's just a little bit, like a banana. I always think of a banana because bananas are gentle on your digestion. They give you that kind of quick fix, and then they have the fiber so that you have a little sustained effort. So eating a banana and then going and racing a 5K would give you a lot better results than eating absolutely nothing and then trying to race a 5K all out. So what do you think of that, Wendy?
So like if I'm doing an early morning workout and it's less than an hour, I actually probably any type of workout I do in the morning, like I make my recovery shake and I go to the destination, whether it's like mostly it's a trail or I might go to the gym. And so I make a protein shake before I leave. And I tend to drink it while I'm making it, or I drink half of it. And then I have the other half after my workout. So I'd say myself, I'm always fueling with something. It's not anything major or anything big. I think the most important meal for me, and I posted this question a couple weeks ago during National Nutrition Month, is what's the most important meal? For me, it's the one you eat post-training. And at the same time, I usually have my post-training meal, I eat like half of it before and half of it after. And so I think, especially with you saying about the 5K intensity, if I go to a 5K, I'm going to have at least half a bagel with some peanut butter on it, with some hydration product. Because for me, doing a 5K, I'm going to get there an hour before. I'm probably going to do a 2-mile warm up and then the 5K as fast as I can. So I want fuel in my body. I don't want to rely on what I ate before I went to bed. And so I think it's just really important to acknowledge, what did you eat the day before? How late was your last meal before you went to bed? And how early is your next training session? Are all factors that are going to determine what and how much you will or will not consume with. I think it's always a good idea, if you're going into a workout not eating, to have something readily available in case you need it.
Right. And I actually, for me personally, breakfast or eating as soon as I wake up is a non-negotiable, not from a health reason, but for a mental health reason. Back in the olden days when those damn eating disorders, that would be my favorite thing to do, is go as long as I could without eating, regardless of what activity I had planned. And that could have been a 6-hour bike ride. Go as long as I can before I absolutely need something. And I will tell you guys right now, that is not a good plan, nutrition fueling plan. It always backfires. It is not healthy mentally, physically, or emotionally. So breakfast became 20 years ago, breakfast became a non-negotiable for me. So I don't care if I wake up full, which that's why I don't like to eat right before bed, because since breakfast is something right when I wake up, I don't care what I have planned that day, I eat my breakfast. And my breakfast is a banana with peanut butter or oatmeal with peanut butter and a protein shake. And that, it doesn't matter if I'm going to work and working for a few hours and then doing a long workout. It doesn't matter if I'm going to the 5K. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. I wake up, I eat my banana with peanut butter, I drink my Shakeology, I then go do all my workouts, and then I have I make 2 shakes every single night for the next day. And then, like Wendy said, I always have my higher protein shake after my workout for recovery. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I can't, if I was this person who messaged me, if I went and ate nothing and then went and did a workout, that would make me feel nauseous. Mm-hmm. That would and then I would eat, then I would think I'm starving after, then I would eat or drink too much, and it would set me on a bad path for the day. So mm-hmm. for me personally, I eat breakfast every single day, no matter what my workout. And she said, it was causing her some anxiety to try to figure out, like, do I have to wake up an hour earlier? Wendy and we make a shake. I'm sure Wendy puts more effort into her shake, but mine is, I make mine the night before. So I pull it out of the fridge and I shake it up. And then as I'm driving somewhere, I'm drinking it. And when I get somewhere, it's empty. So I wouldn't wake up any earlier, whether I'm drinking a shake or not.
Right. I sometimes make mine the day before, but a lot of times, sometimes, like, I usually prep my coffee the day before and I have it on a timer. Sometimes I forget the timer. So while my coffee's brewing, I'm making my shake.
Yeah.
It's not a hardship for me. I'm very simple. I'm very traditional. I eat this traditional in the sense that I kind of eat the same things every single day. Mm-hmm. My shake is a non-negotiable. So even if I don't eat it in the morning, like if I'm traveling, I eat it or drink it sometime during the day. And if I can't make a shake, I have my protein Shakeology with me that I'll go to Smoothie King and get something there, and I'll put a scoop of Shakeology in it. And so it's definitely a non-negotiable. So it's just trying what we're all different. Find out what works for you. Don't be afraid to try new things and experiment with new things.
Well, and especially when you say in your question, this isn't serving me well, to not fuel myself before a workout. So something simple like a banana, or if you hate bananas, like, there's so many really most plant-based shakes are really gentle on your digestion. Or even just having, like, even if you drink like a bottle of like Gatorade, that's mm-hmm. like the full sugar Gatorade, that's about like 200 calories. It's going to give you glucose and glycogen, and it'll get you through a 30-minute or an hour workout.
Right. Or dilute it with water, drink part of it and dilute the other half with water. There's a lot of, there's just too many products and too many that you can try. It's just asking questions and knowing which ones might work, but it might not work.
Right.
I like the shake because it's hydrating.
Yes. That's why I like shakes. And I've been drinking a lot of shakes for dinner. So like, I'll eat my big meal at like lunch or when I get home from like my big workout. And then I'll drink a shake before bed instead of dinner. And when I do that, my recovery score on my Whoop is like always like 90% or higher, because my body likes me doing a really light meal late at night or like before I go to bed. I just want to mention, because one of my other questions I got is exactly what something you just said. So instead of going through that whole question, I had somebody ask me, this was in my class that I teach. She said, when's the best time for me to drink my shake, before or after my workout? And so I told her what I do. I drink 2 shakes. I drink one before and one after. Wendy, she drinks a shake, half of it before, half of it after. But if you guys are if it's before or after, definitely after. because your body needs that protein to recover. Your muscles need the protein to recover, and it's going to just help you feel better overall.
Right. The most important meal of my day is what I eat after training.
Yeah. That's why I mentioned it, because you just said that.
Yeah. It fuels the next day's workout.
Yeah, exactly. And the rest of your day.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. That was great questions, you guys. All right. What do you have, Wendy?
So I have another nutritional question. She says, trail mix, good or bad idea? Last year, I did my first Olympic triathlon. I trained fasted as I thought of food and running just never sat well and never had no issues until race day. At the race morning, I had a protein shake an hour before the start and then electrolyte water for the bike. And by the time I went for the run, I felt like I was going to be sick. I stuck it out and finished, but basically walked most of the run portion, finishing 1 minute over the cutoff time. I was proud of myself for finishing, and I want to do another race, but I have to figure out the nutritional plan. What to consume that won't make me want to stop, puke, or go to the bathroom during the race. What are your thoughts?
Ooh, this is such a good one. I already know yours. I already know Wendy's race day.
There's a lot to unpack there. First, I'd say, traditionally, don't try anything new race day. So my first comment is if you trained fasted and it was working for you, racing is another day of training. You should have possibly gone into the race fasted and not had that protein shake an hour before your race, because it sounds like you've never done that before. And then with the electrolyte water, you've never done before. So maybe that combination caused some GI distress. So I am one that tends to do stuff race day, and it's worked for me because it worked for my first Ironman, and I'm okay doing it and experimenting. It doesn't always work out, but it's not always, if it doesn't work out, it's not that big of a deal for me. I really have an iron gut. I'm good trying new fuels during or before a race, but most people shouldn't. I really suggest race it like you trained it, meaning you are trained and you know what fuel, how much, and when you're going to consume calories and hydration. So, she's kind of saying, is trail mix something good? It may be. That's not my food consumption. Trail mix, to me, I think of lots of peanuts and a lot of nut-based, high-fat versus low carbohydrate. Trail mix, depending on what it is, but that's my first thought, is trail mix is peanuts, M&Ms, and raisins.
Raisins, yeah.
And so I don't think that's the best option either, because a high-fat content food product like that while you're training, number one, it's not carbohydrate. It's not going to fuel your muscles and give you energy. Number two, I would think would cause me some GI upset because it's mostly fat-based. Again, depends on the trail mix. Number three, the words are, she's looking for foods that aren't going to cause her to have to stop at the restaurant, puke, and make her stop. Again, what makes me want to puke or go to the restroom might not make you puke or go to the restroom. So definitely there's so much information out there. I always suggest to athletes when they're new and they're trying to experiment with foods, use what's on the course in training. So if it works in training, then you can just rely on what's going to be offered on the course. If it doesn't work in training, you have time to try something new. And I always stress, try the carbohydrate products, an energy drink, because it's not only going to provide carbohydrate for calories, for energy, but it's also going to help keep you hydrated. So an energy drink is always my first guideline for athletes to try. They have so many products out there that are in the gels, power gels, goo, natural products that are more like fruit-based and less sugar-based.
Yeah, they have like a maple syrup one.
Yeah, maple syrup. Make your own gel. I mean, there's a lot out there that you can try. But I'm stressing is whatever you're going to do race day, you want to make sure it works and do it in training. I think that was her downfall, is she trained fasted and then all of a sudden she consumed some food and it didn't go well with her gut. And I'm assuming the reason she had to walk was the product that she consumed gave her a lot of GI distress.
Right. If I was to do a race, did she say what distance it was?
Olympic.
Okay. So if I was to do
4 hours.
Okay. So if I was to do a 4-hour workout or 4-hour race and I had a shake an hour before, and then all I took in was electrolytes and water, I would be nauseous.
Mm-hmm.
Because
that's a good point too.
My body needs carbs and she said electrolyte water. So to me, that's like noon or Element. Like that's electrolyte water. Those don't have calories and they don't have carbs. So if I was just drinking that for a few hours, I would be so nauseous that if I tried to take something on the run, it would hurt my stomach so bad.
Mm-hmm.
And so that sounds like that checks out for me. That's exactly how I would feel. I know that like Wendy's talked about before, like for an Ironman or ultra, potato chips and Coke. That works for her. Potato chips, they're salty. They have the salt, but they also have the carbs. They also have some slow burning because potatoes are more, even though it's more processed, it's still potatoes, which is going to have a little bit of a lasting effect. The cola
has more complex,
the sugar. Yeah. The cola has the sugar, it has the caffeine. So that would feel better on my stomach than just that electrolyte water over 4 hours. I would do her meal plan for my sprint, which takes me a little over an hour. Mm-hmm. That would be okay, I think, for a sprint. But anything longer. So I use Flow. It's a carbohydrate drink. There's lots of them out there. There's custom ones. There's ones that you can dial in what flavor you want, how much flavor you want, how much salt you want in it, how many carbs you want per hour. There's all these options. And so a lot of them now have quizzes. You can go to their website and put in your weight, how much you sweat, what distance you're training for, what the weather is the day of your race, like all that stuff. And it's going to give you like, oh, you should be taking in 60 grams of carbs and 210 calories per hour. And then you can find the product. Like Wendy said, it could be on course. It could be something that you bring on your own that works for your gut and your taste buds. Because I promise you, if you're out there for 4 hours and something you drink, you don't like the taste of, you're going to spit that right out. Mm-hmm. You have to think of those things too. Like, how are you going to feel in 4 hours? Not how are you going to feel the first hour, but if it's hot and you're exhausted and you're pushing as hard as you can, in the 4th hour, you're going to need something that you've trained with and that you like.
Right. And another follow-up with this person I would want to say is, what was your longest training? Mm-hmm. Was it an hour? Was it 2 hours? Or did you do a 4-hour training session? Because if you could have been fasted and felt great for a 2-hour workout, but you just did a 4-hour workout. So how much did you feel with days leading up? Were you tapered? What intensity were you at? There's just so many factors that determine what actually happened to cause her to walk on the run and to cause her to have some GI distress, not just what she had the morning up. It's an accumulation of things.
And that's exactly why I mentioned at the beginning of this podcast with my wellness win, why I chose to do a mock indoor 70.3 3 weeks before my race, because I wanted to test my fueling strategy. And so I did that 5.5 hour workout with the exact amount of fuel that I was planning on doing on the race. And I felt great at the end. Mm-hmm. So test it, practice. Anything else you want to add about that?
No, we covered a lot. We covered a lot of nutrition. It still happens to be the tail end of National Nutrition Month. So I think they're good. Perfect. It's good to answer nutrition questions.
Perfect. And this is from new athletes. This is what we get because they maybe have done 1 or 2 races. I will tell you, when Wendy's lucky and she's like, oh yeah, I have an iron stomach and most of my races, I've been fine with what's on course. I think it took me 12 years to not finish puking because I tried so many things and I have a really sensitive GI system. but you have to, if it's important to you, you just keep trying and working on things. And I'm grateful I found something that works for me now.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here's my next question. This is a good one too. This is one of my athletes I coach. She's doing Boulder 70.3, which is in June. And she said, do you think I should sign up for a half marathon in April? I'm thinking about the Prairie Dog Half in Westminster, but I don't know if that's too big of a jump for where I am right now, or if I just say bleep and see where I'm actually at. I don't really want to spend the money, but I feel like sometimes I need that kind of accountability. So this is, it's interesting because I put out there, hey, you guys ask us anything. And somebody asked, oh, should I do a race? Should I do another Ironman when I retire? So these are people asking like, should I do this race? So for this situation that I just read that question, she said, should I do a half marathon a month before my half Ironman in Boulder? I want to because of accountability, but I don't want to because of cost. So here's what I asked her. And this is what I think, if you're ever trying to make a decision, you want to ask yourself a lot of questions. Like, and Wendy and I've talked about this, like, what happens if I do? What happens if I don't? So here's what I asked her. Because I need the accountability of a race. I'm that person. I want to do a race to force myself to work out hard because I want to be competitive in my race. So I asked her on a scale.
I'm going to follow up on that because you have a belief that doing a hard half marathon in a race setting versus on your own will make you stronger for a race.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. So I asked her on a scale from 1 to 10, how important is, because when originally she told me her goal, she wanted to PR the Boulder 70.3. She wanted to go fast, get some speed, and work out hard. The last few years, she's just been kind of finishing races. She had told me that. But in the last couple months, some things have changed in her life. So I said, on a scale from 1 to 10, how important is it for you at the Boulder 70.3 to PR or to do well or to go fast? Because if it's a 6 or higher, then I say do the race. If it's a 5 or lower, because she's done, 20 70.3s. She's going to finish the race without doing this half marathon, with just doing a half marathon on her own for a training run. She'll finish the race fine. So for me, because Wendy just said, it's my belief, and I'm coaching her. So I asked her how it's important. If she says it's super important for her to PR this race, then I would tell her to do the half marathon. If she says it isn't that important right now, then to forego the half marathon. I also told her, if you want to do the half marathon, look around your house, find 4 things to sell, and you'll pay for the half marathon. And I know that from experience because I have 33 things on Facebook Marketplace right now. And I've been selling like 5 things a week. And you can easily find something in your house, sell it for $6, sell it for $24. I had my old Waddy Ink race kit. I sold it for $40. I haven't worn it since 2018. I sold it for $40. So
the Waddy Ink that you're still featured on the Ironman website wearing.
Yes.
Okay, I just set my phone down. That's the what you were featured on the Ironman website wearing that.
Yes, and now I sold it. But I got $40 toward my life goals. So it was a good sell. So that's where I stand with should you do something or not? So like the woman who posted when I said, hey, ask us anything. She goes, should I do an Ironman when I retire? So I asked her, she didn't respond back, but I asked her, what would be the main reason you do it? And what would be the reasons you don't? And then you compare those and where you are in your life right now, what's more important? So like Wendy said, she missed, like we both talking about the last few weeks, we've missed a workout or we broke our streak or whatever we did. It's because those things are less important to us right now than what we did instead. And that's why the decision making is really easy for Wendy and I, because we know what our priorities are. We know what's important to us. So when something comes along, it's easier for us to make a decision.
Yeah, whether it's doing an Ironman or not. So regarding this half marathon, so my thought, if I was her coach, I'd say, number one, what's your why? Why do you want to do it? If it's important to you, why do you want to do it? What's your goal?
She said to hold her accountable.
Are you, and to hold her accountable, what is your goal? Are you going to treat it as a max out effort? Are you going to do your pace that you're planning on doing at the Boulder Half Ironman? What's the intention? Let's make it work if your why is strong enough. And I would help them decide, because to me, again, knowing now that she's done 20 half Ironmans would be different than if she was a beginner and never done a half marathon or a half Ironman. 100%. Because doing a hard half marathon, if it's your first one a month before a half Ironman, number one, could take more time to recover because it's your first one. And then that takes you away of training and doing certain training sessions leading up to your half Ironman. So again, there's a lot of variables depending on what type of athlete experience this is. And for me, knowing her experience and knowing she has a lot of experience, I say do it. No matter what your goal is for Boulder, I say do it because you're looking for accountability and you believe that doing a race is giving you more accountability than not doing a half marathon in a race type setting. So do it. And if you have enough money to pay for Boulder 70.3,
that's so
I'm
true.
going to say paying X amount of dollars, say maybe $50 to $100 for a local half marathon, isn't going to be that much of a hardship for you. That's my belief. It may not be her belief or your belief, but that's my belief. When people are spending a lot of money on 70.3s and 140.6, then it's not a big hardship relative to someone like me who's not spending money on 70.3s or 140.6s.
Right. Yeah. And that is so true. But you guys out there, seriously, you would be so shocked if you go to like Facebook Marketplace, or I don't know where else people sell things now, because that's where I've been selling all my stuff, and scroll through and see what people are selling and buying. Everyone can look around their house and make $500 today. Everybody can, because people are buying and selling like the craziest things. And to me, if you just need like a handful of cash like that, like $50 to $100, you can. And she has 2 kids. I guarantee they have clothing that they don't fit. The ones like, I think they're 15 and 13. Or 12, 15 and 12. They have clothes, they have books, they have toys, they have stuff that they were into last year that you can throw on Facebook Marketplace and get a crap ton of money for in one day. So that's my plug for me. If you guys need to make quick money, let me know. You could do plasma. I have all the quick money things now.
All right, ready for mine?
Yes.
So I saw this question in a Facebook group. Hey, I'm following a Garmin plan for my 70.3 in September. So far, so good. But yesterday's swim session had me swimming breaststroke for 2x50s. Why practice a stroke I won't be using? My first reaction to this question is, if you're following the Garmin plan, why don't you ask the Garmin plan?
If you believe in the Garmin plan, then just do it.
Right. So one benefit of having a coach is you can ask us unlimited questions, and we're going to give you honest feedback because we know who you are. We know the person we're coaching. When you're following a training plan, which a lot of people do, they chat GPT their training plan, they follow their training plan based on the Garmin, then that chat GPT and or Garmin is not available to answer your questions that you have because they don't know you. We as coaches know you. So the benefit of doing different strokes, even though your primary stroke in your race is probably going to be freestyle, is different strokes use different muscle groups. Breaststroke, as the question was, why do breaststroke? It's going to use different arm muscles, but more importantly for me, it stretches out your hips if you can do it correctly. If you can't do breaststroke, don't do it. It's not a big deal. But again, I don't know why a Garmin plan would be telling you to do that, but there are some benefits for multi-sport athletes who predominantly train freestyle to do different strokes. Backstroke stretches out your shoulders, your chest. Butterfly is going to strengthen your lats in a different way than freestyle does. And I use breaststroke mainly to strengthen out my hips. It's also a good sighting drill. You may be in a race where you just keep trying to sight, like maybe with alligator eyes, and you're just not quite getting the buoy that you're trying to sight.
Yeah, you keep missing it.
You keep missing it. If you do a few breaststrokes, you may be able to, you'll continue to move forward as you're doing a different stroke, a different sighting technique with the breaststroke to help you sight that buoy. And I also use breaststroke as a drill to teach adults how to breathe because they're struggling with breathing in freestyle, but they don't struggle with breathing in breaststroke. So I use that as an exhalation, inhalation type of drill doing breaststroke and try to help them mimic the exhalation and inhalation while they do freestyle.
Yeah. And I love what you said about if you have a training plan with Garmin and you were wondering why they're doing something, you can't ask them. So you either have to, like we talked about last week, you either have to trust that that's the program you chose and you're going to follow it because you believe it's the best program out there for you, then just do it. Or get a coach that you can actually ask questions to. But I am a 100% believer. I do breaststroke every single time I get in the water. Every time I get in the water, either in between a hard set, I'll do 100 breaststroke, or if after I do a time trial and I need to catch my breath, I'll do a 100 breaststroke kick. Breaststroke for me opens my hips. It stretches out my inner and outer thighs. It works muscles differently than flutter kick. And as triathletes, we do everything forward and back. Our legs are just going front and back, run, front and back, kick, swim, front and back. It's all front and back. Whereas breaststroke forces your legs to go out to the side, so laterally. And so it's a different motion that's going to open your hips, and that relieves pressure off my lower back. That helps keep my hips mobile, and that it's kind of it's a 100% recovery for me. And so I do breaststroke every single time I swim. So me and Garmin are on the same page. But that is a good question, because I think, like you said, it brings up, like, you can't ask questions if you just get a generic training plan like that.
Right.
I like that. My other question was the protein one that we covered, but I wanted to bring up one thing that I asked a question about this week, because I think it's good to not just have questions for athletes. And this is a financial one. So I was freaking out because my daughter has 3 birthday parties this weekend that she's invited to. They're all 3 really good friends of hers. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so much presents. That's 3 presents, 3 gifts. I'm trying to save money. I don't have money in my budget. I have this $1,800 car repair, and I was getting really anxious about it. So I've been putting out little, like, my debt-free journey videos, and I was like, help, what do you parents do with all these birthday parties? And I probably got like 20, 25 responses. I even had a girl, listen how awesome people are. She put together a bunch of stuff from her house. They're like craft kits and stuff. And her husband dropped them off at my door this morning. So I have like birthday presents for the future. But the reason I wanted to bring it up is because there was a lot of really good ideas that I didn't think about. I was just thinking about, I need presents now. 3 was overwhelming. Let me go to Amazon and order some stuff. And $72 later, I had 3 gifts. And I didn't have $72. And I was really stressed out. But I felt like it was something I needed to do immediately. But now that I can plan ahead, here are some of the great tips that people gave. Number 1, dollar store. Let your child pick 5 things from the dollar store, put it in a little bag, in a little dollar bag, and there's a $6 gift of stuff that the kid got to pick out for their friend. I thought that was a great one because that's $6 a gift. That would have been $18. I would have saved $60 just there. Making gifts, that's what we've done in the past. Like Cora's really artsy and she likes to draw things for her friends. And when we've done one birthday every few weeks, we've been doing that. But I think just the 3 birthdays in a 24-hour period like freaked me out. And I'm like, we're not going to have time to do that. We're not going to have time to make 3 projects. So again, the planning ahead thing helps. A lot of people said like an activity, like give them a gift card to like a $10 gift card, or said Eric coupon, like I'm going to take you out to ice cream, or I'm going to take you to go get pizza. And it could be like a little date, like date night coupons for your friends. I thought that was a really good idea. And then there's and because one of the things I was doing is I was looking at Marketplace, and I was like, because one of her friends wanted a Squishmallow, and I was looking because a giant Squishmallow is $30, and on Marketplace they sell them for like 10 to 15. But I'm like, do you give somebody a used Squishmallow for their birthday? Like, is that gross? I don't know. So people said, if you go to Target or Walmart or someplace at the end of a season or at the end of something when they have a big sale, and just buy a few things and always have a big box of gifts, some boy gifts, some girl gifts, some, just a combo. And you always have like 10 gifts in there, and the 10 gifts total cost $100, but it lasts you 10 birthdays. And then you just hand the box to your kid and say, hey, pick out a gift for Easton, pick out a gift for Ember, and pick out a gift for Nathan. And then she could wrap them all up and give them the gift. So I thought those were all really good suggestions. So for any of you moms who are struggling with that, can you think of anything else that you would do, Wendy?
No, you covered a lot. A lot of good tips.
Yeah, that was an awesome tip. So now I know for the future, I'm just putting this, because then somebody was like, well, you can always return those. And I could, but I don't know. Cora's already like excited about giving those things. And I know this is the thing that got me in trouble in the first place, but I'm just chalking this off as a lesson, and I'm getting better all the time, and I'm moving on. Because they already arrived. I could send them back, but again, this is the thinking that got me in trouble. So I'm learning my lesson from it, but I'm keeping it for this time. Did you have any other? Yeah, do you have one more?
No, I want to save it for next time.
Okay, perfect. What are you most excited about?
This is the reason. So there was a triathlete. I get comments a lot, like when people are like, congratulations on your race, yada, yada, yada. You're very talented, yada, yada, yada. And my comment back to them is, I've had a lifestyle. I train really, not necessarily really hard, but I execute certain workouts to give me certain results. I've never felt like a person that I don't have any talent. I started swimming at 4 years old. I'm a good swimmer because I started swimming at 4 years old. It has nothing to do with talent.
You didn't start at 12 and you were this like phenomenal.
Right. It's not like I can just go do something and not train for it and not prepare a certain way for it. So I wanted to talk to you about talking about that on our next podcast.
Ooh, let's do, because
the importance of talent versus hard training or something like that.
Or effort or consistency.
Yeah, I want to talk about that on another podcast.
Yeah, let's talk about that next week, because I actually had someone say something similar to me. She wanted to see what dolphin kick looked like. And so I had Kat video me doing dolphin kick, and I sent it to her, and she was like, oh my gosh, that is so beautiful. I wish mine looked like that. And I'm like, you've never done dolphin kick before. And I've been doing it for like so many years that of course it better look beautiful.
People see me in the water, and I don't really swim, but sometimes I do. And they're like, oh my God, you're such a beautiful swimmer. You have such a beautiful stroke. And I'm like, yeah,
I've been swimming for 50 years.
I've been competing since I've been 4. I was competing against the 6-year-olds. And when I was 6, I was competing against the 8-year-olds.
Right.
It's like, yeah, I look good. And then this is why. It's not because I just dove in the pool and started swimming one day.
Right. Yeah. That's funny because somebody today, when I was subbing that class right before our podcast, she goes, wow, you're a really good instructor. And I was like, well, I started teaching classes in 1990. And then I just did the math and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've been teaching classes for 36 years. I'm like, I better be a good instructor. Like, could you imagine doing something for 36 years and being bad at it?
Right. I mean, context is everything.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what we're talking about next week, guys. So tune in. And if you guys have any questions about that or any specific topics in that, any separate subjects other than just working out and being good at your job or being a good parent or, let's talk about that next week. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
All right. We'll see you guys next week.
Make it a great day.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Wellness Made Easy with Wendy and Kirsten. If you want to learn more about us or anything we talked about today, check out the links in our show notes. We would love to know what you think of our podcast and what you want more of. So drop us a comment, send us a message, and help us out by leaving us a rating and a review. And don't forget to let us know your wellness win for this week. Thanks for listening. Make it a great day.